All right. It looks like we are live. Again. This time with audio. Wow, that was an interesting 30-some minutes of 40 minutes of troubleshooting. God, I don't even know how long it took. Thank you so much for joining me again here on the live stream. My name is Jason Levine. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And today, as mentioned silently an hour ago, I'm going to be talking about two new features in Adobe Audition 2020. And both of these will actually help you not only be a little bit more, give you a little bit more power and flexibility in the multitrack, but in particular, if you're mixing anything with a 5.1 output or multi-channel outputs, you have a whole new way to route effects to those channels in the 5.1 space that you simply couldn't do before, which is going to make it infinitely easier. So as always, thank you for joining us on Facebook, Behance, YouTube, and Twitter Periscope. What's happening, Diego, Taylor, yes, thank you, Catherine, Fernando, Mustafa, James, Kelly, Trav1, Desiree, nice to see you. We've got Henrik and some others joining us. Francis, Leonardo, Evil Cerise. Nice. Michelle Van Helden, hello. Evil Cerise, have you tried turning it off and on again? Very funny. Yeah, I think it's, well, it was a matter of a couple of things. It's either one of the sound devices is dying or the streaming machine USB inputs are dying, both of which are very old, so it's very possible. Having said that, let's jump right in and get started. And we'll just pretend like nothing happened. Like it had just been working flawlessly all along. Incidentally, I also, in the midst of all of this, updated Wirecast, so if things sound different or I had to reset a bunch of things here, let me know, those of you regulars out there. Also, as I mentioned before, and said this yesterday, I've kind of changed up my commenting, how I'm viewing comments. So if this is, if I'm missing some things, bear with me. All right, let me see if I can just pull up the comments here. I don't want that. This. Comments on. Oh, this is really driving me crazy. Okay. All right, I can't take it anymore. All right, let's get started. Okay. So here we are inside of Adobe Audition, and I have a multi-channel 5.1 file, one that I've played here before, one that I authored some time ago. And when applying effects in the previous version of Adobe Audition, now we had one or two, maybe three native surround 5.1 effects. In fact, I think there was only one native one, which was a surround reverb, which allowed you some control over what sort of ambience went to channels outside of front left and front right. However, if you applied stereo effects to a multi-channel file, it applied whatever that effect was to all channels, and you didn't really have any control over that, case in point. So let's take something like an analog delay, one of my favorite native effects here in Audition, and let's see, now I reset some of my routing here on purpose. So what I'd like to do, okay, so I've got the front, left, and right here outputting to the stream, output 1 and 2. I've also added left surround, right surround, outputting to 1 and 2 so that the stream can hear it as well. You're not going to hear center and LFE, that's okay. But you'll see what happens and what would have happened in 2019. All right, so let's play this back for a second. This is applying some analog delay. And just take a quick listen here, and you'll hear this kind of like nice little repeats going on. Take a listen. All right, so you can obviously hear it's. Now, if I turn it off, here it is without delay. All right. So in the previous version of Audition, if I'm like, ooh, I love the way that sounds. Oh, that's going to be so cool. But this is a stereo effect, so maybe it only applies to the left and right. If I went ahead and applied this, and I want you to pay close attention to the waveforms on screen here. When I click Apply, and it does its thing, you're going to notice that all of the waveforms changed because it just applied delay to the front left and right, to the center, to the sub, and to the left surround and right surround. And we can prove that, one, by playing this back, you're just going to hear it's just going to sound kind of just a loud mess of audio and delay. But if I disable the left and right, so now we're just hearing, and again, you can't hear center and sub, they're not routed to the stream, but I have left surround, right surround on. So all the delay went everywhere. So this is not the desired effect. You don't want that to happen. First of all, you wouldn't want to add delay to all of your channels in general. I can't really think of any reason why you would want to do that. Even if you did, that wouldn't be the expected behavior. You would ultimately want to be able to reroute the effect to a specific place. So now you can do this with any effect inside of Audition. So taking the same analog delay, not even doing anything different here, except for one thing, you'll notice if I zoom in here, you now have the channel map editor function here. And when I click on that, this is going to give you some options. So now, because I'm working with an interleaved 5.1 file, it's automatically decided, oh, well, maybe you're using some kind of a 5.1 effect, or you want this 5.1 layout. I actually don't want that. Now, I could do it this way. I'm just going to show you the more typical way, because not all of you will be working with interleaved media. And if you're working in a 5.1 session, just something to know. We're going to click on the request layout button here. And this is going to give you all of the options that you have inside of your session templates, including any custom multi-channel outputs that you've built, as well as 5.1 mono and stereo. Now this is a stereo effect, so I'm going to choose a stereo layout for this because it's a stereo effect. I don't need to see all those other channels. It's not affecting or sending things there discretely. Go ahead and click on request here. All right. And now what I want is I want the left surround to be fed from the left and right, and I want that to feed the left surround and right surround. So I'm going to come over here, and you'll see you've got this drop-down menu where I can now reroute this to the left and to the right. And you can see that all of the other channels are bypassed, okay? So when I play this back now, you're hearing the delay. All right, let's go apply it. All right, and if you were paying attention closely, you may have just noticed that the only waveforms to have changed were the left surround and right surround. So if I quickly turn those off and just play back, no delay. All right, let's go ahead and turn on left surround, right surround, and turn off front left and right. Okay, super cool. So this functions ultimately more along the lines of the way I would have expected to begin with. You just now have more flexibility. Now, again, in terms of rerouting this in a multi-channel scenario, again, you have the option here where you can see in this drop-down, you have all 6 channels. So you could effectively reroute left to center, right to LFE, center to left surround, LFE to right surround, and so on and so forth. You can't route, say, everything to the front, left, and right. If you're working in a 6-channel environment, you have to. They're going to work in well, not even in groups, but you're going to have to fulfill all 6 of those channels in that output section there. But this is why, again, for a stereo effect, it makes sense to just use that layout, add it as stereo, and then tell it where you want that effect to go. Now you may go, okay, well, but what if I wanted to send, a different delay to the center or to something else? Well, that's the cool thing, is that in your effects rack here, we could just add another delay, whether it's the same analog or echo or something like that. Let's say this echo one here, and I could, again, do the same thing here. Maybe I'll even do it as mono this time if we wanted. But either way, let's just say stereo here. And I could say, all right, I want the center to be left and the LFE to be right. You can see why this is why I'd want mono, because we don't want to send delay to an LFE. But in this case, we could do that and route those things that way. And all of these can live non-destructively in real time in the effects rack there. So pretty cool and pretty flexible. And of course, the same applies in the multitrack. Now, this is only a stereo master here, but you'll have the same routing options in the multitrack in real time that you do in the waveform editing environment. And you can see in this particular delay, it's on a mono track, it's in a mono configuration, so it makes sense that it's only going to go to mono. Now again, if this were a multi-channel multi-track, you would want it in 5.1, and then you could just bypass the channels that you're not using, okay? So in this case, we'd probably do something like stereo here, but we could, ultimately, you've only got one, it's a single track, so you're either going to route it to the left or maybe you're going to route it to the right, right? So we're going to send the effect to the right, but the native file's on the left. Whatever you want, however you want to do it, that's entirely up to you, okay? Pretty easy, pretty slick, pretty cool. All right, let's bounce over to the chat for a second and see if we've got any questions coming in before we go to the next feature. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, this is just going to drive me absolutely into madness. What is going on with this? Oh, don't care. Okay, hold on. I'm going to switch my screen. I'm sorry. So edgy. That's live. That's live. Hassan Jama, how are you? Kyle Harrison, morning. Greetings from Belgrade, Goran. All right. Oh, stream will begin shortly. Well, it's already begun. Yes. All right. Who's to say it's even begun? Noir, you've only missed part of it, so you can catch the replay, of course. All right. Kelly Triplet, what's up? Pablo, Sahin, Taylor from KC, Art, Josh, Michelle Hanlon, hey, Pridyahara, Lynn Mansfield from Australia, or Austria, I'm assuming Australia. Nice to see you, Victoria. First time here. Oh, nice. You get to see me having a slight breakdown. That's how it is. I love it. It's live. Nuramad from Bangladesh. Hello. Andre from Brazil. All right. Stacy Jones. Yes, Tiffany. These will all be posted here on Facebook. You'll be able to watch them on the Creative Cloud channel, on YouTube, on Twitter, Periscope, and Behance as well. Marius from Poland. Okay. Kelly. Oh, thank you very much. Yes. Lots of voiceover. Taylor. I sound like Ryan Reynolds. I don't think I've ever heard that, but I'll take it. I wish I were as funny as he is. All right. All right, so that's great. Okay, so no questions. Everyone's cool. All right, nothing over there. And on the tubes, nope, nothing. Okay, all right. So second feature, and this is super cool, and this is something that I'm going to show you directly in this multi-track session that I've been working on. And then we're going to work on this afterwards. So, but this new feature is something which is really, really useful. And effectively, it just allows you to play overlapped clips inside of the multi-track. So let's just come over here, go back to my screen now. Everything should be cool and copacetic. Okay, and let me zoom out on all this. So this is my my latest single coming out hopefully in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We'll see if the digital distributors can get it out in time. It's called Fear the Q-Tip. And as is often the case, you've heard me talk about this a lot on stream before. When I'm laying down in particular vocals, in fact, last Friday afternoon I mentioned I went in here in the studio and I laid down 36 vocal tracks, all single takes, all good, different harmonies, different little bits all over this mother. And the way I do it is unless I make a complete mistake and really barf it, I do it and then wind back to a marker. You can see all the markers that I've got here. and then sing the part again, and then do harmonies and stack harmonies. So in the case of adding some ahs in a particular section here, I did just that. Now let me just play this for you real briefly. So this is a 3-part harmony tracked 12 times, okay? So take a quick listen to this. Lovely. You like that? So, real harmonies, no auto-tune, as it is. And what is enabling me to hear all 12 parts is a new function here in the multitrack properties called play overlapping clips simultaneously. Because if I expand these tracks down here, so this is what we're looking at, I can zoom in a little bit more for you here. What you'll see, for instance, let me just move this up again, on say track, well, whatever track this is, they're not numbered because I've labeled them all. If I just move these around, you'll see, so here's 1, 2, oh, there's only two parts for this one, okay. Yeah, see this one, I was like, oh, I guess I only need 2 of this particular harmony, okay. So these are all stacked on top of one another, all right? If I were to take this one down here, 1, 2, 3, okay, there's 3 parts there, all right. And then down below, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's only 8 here, not 12. Oh, it still sounds pretty thick for 8. Okay. So if I had that option unchecked, what would happen is you would not hear all of that, all of those overlays, all right? So hold on one second here. Let's uncheck this and now just play back these 3. And you're just going to hear the 3 topmost tracks now. And here, well, you'll still hear it with the reverb, but that's okay. And here it is without reverb, just in case someone's like, ah, it sounds the same. It isn't. It's only 3 versus 8, but listen again. All right, and now let's turn on play overlapping. Just keep it dry again, but now take a listen. Oof, angelic, right? I have a pretty big range. So, so what's wonderful about this is that, again, part of the way that I'm doing this, and if you take a look here, here, I'm going to reopen the whole session again. This entire session was over. In fact, the way that I was doing the overdub so that I could keep hearing myself and singing to myself involved using this play overlapping clips function. Now, there's a benefit to this, which is if I wanted to just mix this as is, it will mix with that function in place. In other words, if I mix this down, it's going to play all of those harmonies together. I don't have to do anything. And that actually what I did for this rough mix that I created last night, you can see that I just applied an EQ to the whole track for each of the 2, 3, or 4, layers that's sitting there with just, one EQ for all 3 of them, so I didn't treat them individually, and I just sent them all to a reverb bus. And that's it. Really simple processing. So I affected all of them the same with a basic EQ, on-track EQ here, and then sent them to the reverb. However, if you need to tweak individual files, or maybe there's a popping P or a plosive or something, you may want to treat them independently, in which case you can still do that, but sometimes you might need a little bit more control, in which case you'd probably want to disable this function. For instance, I was listening back to this. Let's see, did I take it out already? Oh, yeah. So I was listening back. I did a mix yesterday, and I was listening back with all the harmonies in there. I'm going, wow, You know, the piano sounds amazingly thick, right? And here's the piano part. Take a listen. Oh, and the harmonies too. I'm going, man. There's 3 pianos. So I did 3 takes of the piano, ultimately settling on take 4, but I left them all in the multitrack. So again, with that functionality enabled, when I mixed this down, it mixed down all 3 pianos. Now that's fine, that's cool. It was a little too much. So again, if I just go to my global settings here, let's disable this. Now just play the track 4 piano by itself. And you're hearing my little Phil Spector snare reverb there. Now we're on a single piano track, okay? Versus, I mean, I guess you could say amazingly, I'm very consistent when I play, time-wise and part-wise. I mean, I'm almost playing the exact same thing. Except on one, I went a little bit higher, playing those triads. Because you pushed it too far. Push it too far into your ear. Ouch. All right, it's a cautionary tale for all watching the stream today. All right. Not tight. Yes. Thank you very much. Fear the Q-tip. So, my friends, that is kind of the end of the what's new part of today's stream. And after all that troubleshooting, I don't know if I'm in the mood to mix, to be honest. Kind of burnt myself off there. All right, let's see. Let's check back for some questions. All right. All right. Greetings from France, Nor. Okay, nice. Christian Chinks from Rwanda. Nice to see you. Dave Casilia from NYC. Amira from KSA. Francis Shepard, Vibrato. Darn right. Thank you very much. We enjoy every day. Is there a way of navigating between the overlays without dragging the topmost one out of the way to see? Oh, yes, actually there is. So here, I'll show you. Let me switch back. That's a great question. Switch back over. And I will show you here. So in the case of like the piano here, where we know I've got multiple clips, rather than dragging them out of the way, if you right-click, control-click, on a track where you know you have multiple takes, you'll see there's an option here to bring clip to front. So you can tell it this, and this is how I audition the takes basically. Oh, there's 4 pianos in there. So there's 1, 2, 3, and this was take 4. And you can see they're all continuous takes. Because I just play it live, yo. So that's how you do it, all right? And if there were only 2, then you can use this other function here, send clip to back, and then it'll just flop between. Well, actually, you can use that for anything, but then you can. It's just as easy to swap them that way. So this is how you can do it in lieu of dragging them. All right, bring clip to front, which is super handy, and that's actually how I typically will audition them. I don't drag them out. I just bring them forward and kind of go from there. So great question. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right. Marcelo, how are you doing? Okay. Okay, let's go over to the tubes. Tony from South Africa, hello. Asma Hussein from Sydney, nice to see you. All right. Simon Conroy, how long before the awesome setting is out? Powered by Adobe Sensei. You know, we used to have something in a product called Sound Booth, which was effectively a loudness maximizer. And it was called the louder button. And it just said louder, which was fun and funny, but, you know, you didn't have a lot of control there. So as an audio editor, I was personally offended by the louder button. But the awesome button, actually, you know, there's a couple plugins that have some things like that. It's a good idea. I mean, it's funny. There are definitely plugins out there that have that kind of idea. And really, it's just about polishing. And AI is the perfect way to leverage that, right? There's even AI mastering services for audio. And that's effectively what they're doing, is they're doing an analysis, they're doing a comparison with other like mastered tracks, and then kind of recreating a mastered scenario. So you could theoretically do it really easily. Filiberto, thank you. Oh, very cool. Thank you very much. Paulina, how are you? Showing off some piano skills. Well, you know, it's been a while since I've played, so you're just going to have to hear it. As well as some very high vocals today. All right. All right. Going over to YouTube. Let's see if we've got anything else here. Oh, nice. We enjoy. Oh, we enjoy, by the way. Nice to see you again. Learn something new. Been using tracks or separate takes. Yeah, and that's fine too. You know, the truth is everybody multi-tracks differently. And because tracks are unlimited, there's no reason not to do it like that. Honestly, the way that I do it, especially when I'm here, is I just go take, done, take, done, take, done, take, and just keep rolling it. Same with the piano. Piano's downstairs. I had the separate laptop where I could just reach it by hand, you know, finish the take, roll it back, record, roll it back, record, roll it back, record. I don't want to get out of the groove at all. But everybody works differently. So either way works, but now you know. All right. Michelle, this should be a track option instead of a global option. That way you can control it even more. Michelle, I totally agree. It should theoretically be both, because perfect example, I wouldn't mind using this on just some of those backgrounds because it's the same mic. One EQ can kind of do it all, even though theoretically I should probably EQ each of them independently. See, my whole thing, and it's funny, we're talking about the tracks. I like to minimize the amount of tracks on screen. I mean, this is not, you know, this isn't like a massive, massive session by any stretch. Here, if I just go back to show you the whole thing. In fact, I can't, when I zoom out full, I can't even show all of it vertically because there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 20. So it's like 29 tracks. I mean, that's, you know, that's pretty standard for these days. And a couple of these are bus tracks. So it's, you know, plus 20 is pretty normal. But you can imagine with all those background vocals, you know, just those ahs alone was 8. And then, you know, like in this, there's a little section here. I have a line that says, how does my own song go? Love could never harm. Place it gently, twirl it round. ASMR, scratchy sound. And here, a little preview for you. I'm trying to get creative with some sound design. So I laid down a couple of tracks of some ASMR in there that will play when you hear it. And it sounds like this. All right. Again, you got to get creative with sound design. So just that right here is, so it's 2 tracks, left and right. But as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 takes of just that, because some I'm doing sh and some I'm doing sh, and then the last one I did like so sh, and you kind of get a more, you know, what I envision that sound to be like in one's ear. Right. And doing it sort of hard. In fact, I might even have to do it really hard panned left, right, so you really kind of feel what that sounds like. Here, I'll put the the vocals in there so you can kind of hear what that part sounds like. All right.
Never harm, place it like cotton swab, pill and soft could never harm. Place it gently, twirl it round, ASMR scratchy sound, move it to the...
Yeah, now these aren't even mixed yet. They're not EQ'd, nothing's been done to them. They're just at flat, 0. Really, I typically set everything to -6, but because I was recording these so quickly, they're just default. So they're not even EQ'd. Nothing's been done to them yet. Probably pump them up about 3 dB.
ASMR scratchy sound.
But that's 6 tracks alone. So 6 plus the 8 before, that's 14. You can see right here I think I'm just saying don't push it too far into your ear. It's 4 tracks right there, right? So my 28 track session, now suddenly we're approaching 48. There's nothing wrong with that. Just for me, it becomes a huge amount of track management. And I only work on one screen, and I don't even run it in, this is the 5K iMac. I don't run it in 5K because it's just, everything's just too small. So I'm running it in, I guess, technically 2.5K, whatever the 2560 width version is. Right now you're seeing it at 1920 because of the stream, but typically it's running at like 2560 by I don't know what the vertical is on that. So that's the reason I do it that way. But however you feel comfortable, and I agree, it would be really nice to have that as an individual track option as opposed to a global option. So that's a great feature request, and I would highly recommend you. I'm posting it in the chat for you. User voice, all right. I'm gonna stick it in Facebook as well. User voice. I just realized that could also be, you could also consider that use your voice. It's user voice, but use your voice. We really do use those, and we really do listen, and we really do build out a lot of features based on that. Okay. Huffa Fred, Sir William Davis, how are you? Bruce Arfston, all right. Harley, Nanta, Mei Pyong, Isbil Photo, nice to see you. All right. Oh, and thank you, Des, for letting me know that I never did change the lower third. I'm sorry. I was so... There's so much going on before. Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. For those who want to stay, you are more than welcome to do so. I'm going to end the stream here on Creative Cloud. I will keep it run, and Behance. I will keep it running on YouTube and Twitter Periscope, so you can catch me there if you so desire. And I'm just going to work a little bit on these vocals, maybe for a couple of minutes. Actually, I don't even know if I'm into that at the moment. We'll see. Any more comments here? All right. You're very welcome, Filiberto. Paulina, when are you going to play the Cool Cats song? Cool Cats? I don't know if I know this one. Catherine Thompson. Didn't know they did audio recording. Oh, yes, of course. All right. Okay. Well, that all looks great. All right, everyone. Well, thank you again for joining me. Again, if you're going to stick around on Twitter Periscope and YouTube, I'm going to just... I don't know. I'm going to decide right now. In any case, I will catch you tomorrow, day before Thanksgiving, on one last live stream of this week. We are off at Adobe US on Thursday and Friday, so I won't see you then, but I'll be back the following Monday with more live streams, and we'll kick off some stuff. I'm not sure about tomorrow. Probably be Premiere or After Effects. Haven't done any After Effects in a little while, so I may catch you on the After Effects channel. Until then, have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you again next time. And again, for those on Twitter, Periscope, and YouTube, if you want to stick around, I'm sticking around. So hopefully I'll see you there, and I'll keep the chats open. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Okay. All right, so we are done with that part of it. And thank you for enduring some of the technical mishaps from earlier. I can already see that this updated Wirecast is using way more system resources, so that's disappointing. But as it is, that's fine. So, let's see what else here. What should we do? Oh, Michelle, thank you. You've added it to user voice. That's great. Leonardo Favaretto, is there some way to create a parallel compressor? Kind of. That's a good question. How are you wanting to use it? Specifically, what for? On the YouTube side of things. All right, hold on. I just got to reconfigure my screen here for a second, so bear with me. Okay, and we are still running here, right? Okay. Okay. Evil Cerise, oh, is there a Wirecast issue? Or you're just saying, oh, Wirecast because it's using more resources? Yeah, it's the latest. I updated it in my haste of trying to get everything working properly, and it was not. It wasn't a successful idea. Okay. All right, let's go back to this. We'll switch back here. Oh, wait, hold on. One more thing. It's the only downside with having all the chats on this main system is that yeah, oh, I see what you're saying, Leonardo. Yeah, I mean, so yes, you can effectively, you could theoretically have multiple layers of compression running. I mean, I guess they're technically they're in series. If you bust, oh here, let me sorry. If you bust your signal, which you wouldn't typically do for compression, because normally you're going to insert compression. But if you were to say, like here, let's do this. Let me get the. Let's go to the bass track here. All right, so on this bass line, I have a single effect on here. So this is this Chris Lord-Alge plugin, which is sort of a combo EQ compressor. And if you take a listen here, you can kind of hear what it's doing. So here's the clean. It's a very dirty tube amped recording, but here's the original bass.
Here, you will not be able to hear.
Sorry. Ah! Stop. See, this is also all the scrolling just drives me nuts. Okay, so here's the raw bass. And I added a little. It's just kind of amping up some of the distortion. There's already distortion in here. Just by using a little bit more push compression on here and dropping some of the sub frequency. Okay, so if I wanted to add an additional compressor here to affect a different level of the dynamic range, how I would do that to have it in parallel would be to use Ascend. So I'd come over to here, I'd enable Ascend, I'd create a new bus, probably a mono. Although I think this is it's a mono stereo effect. So either one. Again, it's bass. So the way that this effect works, it's mono input, stereo out. So a little trickier here. But I would create a bus, and I'd call it bass PC for parallel compression. And then I would add, another compressor here, preferably the same one, but it could be a different one. And then you'd be able, and you could do it pre-fader send. So in other words, this fader is not going to affect or not going to control the simultaneous output with compression here. You'd want that to be pre-fader. So this is post-fader by default. Click it, it becomes pre-fader. Adjust the level to the bus which in this case I'd probably keep it at a nominal level. Pan, keep it in the center, whatever. You can see it's going to the bass PC here. You'd add your other compression there, whatever it is. Let's just say the dynamics processor here. And now you could control those. And because this is pre-fader, this whole signal, you'd have independent control over sort of wet dry of this to be able to run parallel compression. That's super sloppy way of kind of doing that, but you could achieve that effect that way. Okay. All right. Let's bounce over and see if there's any more. Sorry, that was very, very wordy. All right. Okay. We enjoy every day. The chorus of the song is a great earworm. Yes. That's what I want to hear. You've broken out singing it several times in the last 2 days. That's awesome. I can't wait till it's up on Spotify and everywhere else, man. It's my favorite to date. The newest one is always the favorite one. But this one I love the lyric, and I think the chorus is very catchy. And again, all these new shout vocals that I have in here, I think are really going to make it super fun and funny. The ending is I'm particularly proud of the ending as well. It really turned out nice. But this is another example too. Like here, I think these are the shouts of "Don't push it too far into your ear." Let's see.
Fear the Q-tap, don't push it too far into your ear, or you will not be able to hear. Don't push it too far into your ear.
Right. And you could, again, there's 1, 2, okay, there's only 2. I wasn't quite sure. I just do it. I hear it in my head and I sing it. So, but when it's all blended together, this is the thing. And I talk to singers about this, and they ask if I use my thoughts on auto-tune and whatnot, and I don't mind it. I don't use it for me. Because I'm used to hearing myself and singing to myself. So again, when it's all together, if you know how to blend, you get a much nicer, in my opinion, just a much nicer, real sound. Not that there's anything wrong with auto-tune or any of that stuff. Whatever you like, whatever works. I just don't care for it so much. That's not to say, by the way, that I don't occasionally use it to fix a bum note here or there that's in an otherwise perfect take. And it's just a note that's so off, because again, I leave little mistakey, glitchy things in a lot of my music, because I'm just all about that live take, and I like that, But it's not always. It doesn't always work. So, which reminds me. So what I will do. This is what I want to do. So, not that you would have noticed, but last Friday, I streamed and I did. We did an overdub session, and I overdubbed some electric guitar, which I never play. I occasionally play lead, and I'll play rhythm acoustic, but not electric. And I'm just not a great guitar player. I'm the first to say it. I can fake some pretty good solos, and I can fake comping, but I don't like guitar. I don't use it. It's generally never in my music at all. If you go to Spotify, Google Play, whatever, out of I don't know how many songs I have up there, 35, 40 songs. With the exception of the collaborations that I do with Fuzzy Island, out of my own songs that have guitar, there's probably 2 or 3. Yeah. Retouch Me has some guitar. The previous children's music, none of it has guitar. I think some of the ambient stuff that I did with Fred Fung has guitar. But again, 1 or 2 other songs. So I never use it. I recorded a bunch of stuff the other day. None of it's in here. So I actually wanted to hear what it might sound like now that this has been mixed a bit further and there's more vocals. So maybe we'll go ahead and test that out. Tez, it was a pretty good fake. Thank you very much. Well, however you can sell it, right? And for comps, it's okay. So here, wait a minute now. Where were these were recorded in 3A probably. Or were they? Now we get to play. Where did I record that? I think I actually have a separate 3. I have a separate guitar session here. All right, let's open this. And then I'll have the tracks in here. Okay. So let's see, this is just the guitars dry, first of all. These are horrible. Let's just take a quick listen here. Okay, and by the way, you can see play overlapping is off because I did like I only did one take of that one. I did quite a few takes of this just to have some options, you know, just kind of making it up as I was going along. Okay, so I want Get Rye 03. So let's find that. Get Rye 03. This is the one I want. All right, let's go to this session here and let's make a new track right here. Mono. And we'll do 2 of these. Mono. So this is just to really hear what these might sound like. And let's go back to the other session real quickly and just see. Yeah, Rye 02_1. That's the other one I want. The first take was not good. Okay. And we'll do a little bit of panning on these. And they really should be in a bus or something. Now, I really just wanted to hear it in the verse. All right, right there. Actually, I liked it in that section too. All right, maybe we'll just go all the way to there. Just to hear. Again, I don't know what's going on in this at all. It's gonna be really, really garbage. Let's take it down. Now these are not EQ'd. They're very, very, very fuzzy, and not Fuzzy Island fuzzy. So I don't know how this is gonna sound, but let's take a listen.
Fear the Q-tap, don't push it too far into your ear. Little white cotton swab, Philosoph could never harm. Place it gently, twirl it round. ASMR scratch sound. Move it to the other side. Brace yourself, close your eyes. I've been cleaning for a while. More I twirl, the less I smile. But don't let the waxy gunk fool ya. Cause some of that residue's cool, yeah. If you push it too far, you'll think that you're seeing stars. You'll be tearing, won't be hearing, cause you pushed it too far. Whoa, fear the Q-tip.
It's okay. Now, one of the things I was experimenting with, again, these aren't EQ'd yet, but something that can kind of give it a little bit of life. Again, this Chris Lord Alge plugin for guitar. One of the things that you can do is you can reamplify it. So basically putting it through, this was through a tiny little practice amp with a cheap, real garbage electric guitar. So I'm using this as an insert, by the way, but this might be able to give it a little bit more. So here, let's just hear it dry first. Oh, it's got something on there. actually, that's not so bad, right? That's not bad at all. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad. Now let's do the same thing here. And I want to vary this a little. Huh. Now, that's without the reamping. Let's try turn that. Yeah, I mean, that's a little too grungy, but it sounds pretty good, though. Yeah, any bass on there.
Some of that residue's cool, yeah. If you push it too far, you'll think that you're seeing stars. You'll be tearing, won't be hearing, 'cause you pushed it too far. Oh, fear the Q-tip. Fear the Q-tip.
Now, what I was thinking in this first chorus was maybe to have some Moog. I put the Moog sitting over there in some kind of like that could be kind of cool, right? Maybe.
Fear the Q-tip, don't push it too far into your ear. You will not be able to hear. The cotton swab is something to feel.
Something like that. That could be kind of cool. Or no? Does it sound too empty?
Fear the Q-tip, don't push it too far into your ear. You will not be able to hear. The cotton swab is something to fear. Why?
All right. Let's go to the chats for thoughts. Visual Valencia, thank you for joining. Hey, Tipangi, Dawa Studios, watching live from Malawi. Very nice to see you as always. Evil Cerise, really good performance. Jason, meh, it's okay. So true, right? We enjoy. Thumbs up on that. Okay, well, appreciate that. Thank you. Chaz, Jonathan, Jamie, what do you think? Michelle, you're all about that cowbell, right? Oh, you know, actually, that could work really well there. You are totally right, and I said that. So maybe that's something we could do. Yeah. I got to see if I'm going to add that synthesizer in there, though. All right. But aside from that, you know, I don't know. I think that's probably all we're going to do for today. So I don't know. I'm undecided on the guitar. We'll have to see how that the rest of that rolls out. But I really need to get this done by the end of the week. Make sure to mark the video at the spot where I added the Moog. I want that for a future highlights reel. Yeah. I've also, by the way, on several recordings out there, commercially available, if I didn't have the Moog with me, I'm, you know, as someone who does a lot of voice and has done a lot of sound design over the years, and if you ever watch any of the Audio 101 series we enjoy, you'll see I'm always, and Evil Cerise knows this, many of the regulars know this, always making sounds and things. Just comes from editing sound for decades, and it's not uncommon that I would just sing the Moog part. In fact, there's a track on a collab from 2 years ago called This Is Live Music. It's the last track on that record. It's called Best Tell D Groove. Best Tell D Groove. And the whole thing is it's just voice. There's drums in it. I'm playing drums on it, but there's just voice. And it's not a cappella. It's not meant to be like pentatonics or anything. But there's a lot of like bzz, there's little things in there that I'm singing in lieu of using Moog. And so not an uncommon thing. All right. Okay. Well, I think we're going to call it for right now. So thanks again for watching and listening. Again, I invite you all to the stream tomorrow. And thanks again for listening to the track here. I am so excited for this to come out. That doesn't sound as excited as I actually am, but I am super, super excited for this to come out. All right. So we're gonna let the bass and drums play out here, play us out. Oops. I will say this, right here in this chorus, I already deleted them because I did 3 takes and I didn't like it. I did have it went like this.
Fear the Q-tap, don't push it too far into your ear. You will not be able to hear. That cotton swab is something to fear.
But it's like, it was too much and you know, it was just getting a little too much. So I just deleted them. I didn't even keep it. I did 3 takes, a stacked 3-part harmony and went, nope, and just got rid of it. I don't know what stream it was on last week. We were talking about destructive versus non-destructive. And I'm like, I'm all about the destructive. You know, I don't need to keep I can't stand it. Barf. I don't want any, if I don't like it in the moment, sure, maybe you come back in a week. It's amazing. Yeah, that happens. But, you know, in production, you know, sometimes you just got to call it. And I dig calling it. Not always, right? And certainly if it's a client, you got to keep everything. But for yourself, for me, I like just kind of, delete. And that's that. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm going to end the stream now. Have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you tomorrow on the Premiere Pro Facebook page, Behance, YouTube, and Twitter Periscope. So have a good one, and take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Oh, and hey, Henry, thanks. All right, take care. Bye-bye.